Fox Sports.
We are Black Hawks. We are Wisconsin.
Sunday afternoon in Cincinnati, Ohio. And on the banks of the Ohio River, we're at Great American Ballpark, and we're ready for the final game of the series. It's the Brew Crew trying to take 3 out of 4 from the Cincinnati Reds before they head home for a matchup with the Twins tomorrow night. Matt Harvey will get the ball for the Cincinnati Reds here this afternoon, traded from the New York Mets. It'll be his first start against the Brewers. And on the other side, it'll be Freddie Peralta, 3-0 in his first 4 starts as a Brewer. The rookie phenom is back up there for start number 5. And hi, everybody. We welcome you from Great American Ballpark. Great to have you with us this afternoon. Alongside Bill Schroeder, I'm Brian Anderson. We'll hear from Sophia Minnaert in just a moment. Well, interesting news we're going to get to with Orlando Arcia. But first, Freddie Peralta is on the mound today. We called him Freddie Fastball. That's great alliteration. Freddie Curveball doesn't quite go together, but that's what we saw a lot of in that start against Kansas City.
Yeah, it's amazing to watch this guy evolve in a very short period of time. He's made 4 starts. He's gone scoreless innings in 3 of those starts. And you know, when he first burst onto the scene against the Rockies, it was all fastballs, about 90% fastballs, 13 punch-outs. It's been amazing to watch his evolution. The curveball, a big pitch in his last start, that was against the Kansas City Royals. He struck out 10 in that game. A lot of those strikeouts coming on that curveball. So as this guy continues to get more confidence and more aggressive, now all of a sudden he's got 3 pitches that these hitters have to be aware of. He's starting to really become a pitcher and not just a thrower.
It's been fun to watch his progress. He is one of the top prospects in the Brewers organization. And speaking of prospects, a former #1 prospect in Orlando Arcia, he is headed back to AAA. And for more on that, we check in with Sophia Minnaert.
Thanks, BN. You're right. Orlando Arcia just continued with his season-long struggles at the plate, and for that reason, they are sending him back down to AAA Colorado Springs, something that they tried to do just a few weeks ago. He was optioned there on May 25th, but with the injury to Tyler Saladino, he only got 4 games in AAA before he was brought back up. So the season numbers for Arcia, a 197 average, 2 home runs, 15 RBIs. He was 3 for 24 in his most recent stretch. They've also called up Aaron Wilkerson in the season for Colorado Springs, a 2-2 record for him, a 2.08 earned run average. He did make it here before the game. He was scheduled to start today for Colorado Springs, so he provides some much-needed length for Craig Counsell in that bullpen. But here's what Counsell had to say about the need not just for that fresh arm, but more so in the long-term picture to get Orlando Arcia going at the plate.
We've got to get Orlando going offensively, and you know, unfortunately, you know, I feel like we've kind of failed here in just trying everything we can to do it. So, you know, we initially tried to put him in a different environment. We really haven't done that yet, from my perspective, is because of the Saladino injury. So, you know, what we originally had planned to do, we'll make another attempt at it. And you know, put him in. He's going to a different environment and hopefully a little easier, you know, offensive environment.
Orlando Arcia heading down to the Sky Sox, but Eric Thames continues to swing a hot bat here at Great American Ballpark. He homered yesterday, his 14th against the Reds. We'll take a look at Thames' success here against Cincinnati.
Baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by Hupy and Abraham. Voted best, rated best, Hupy and Abraham. Tell them you mean business. By Miller Lite, great taste and only 96 calories. And by Menards, save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. Find a shady spot if you can and enjoy a Sunday afternoon in the Queen City. One guy who enjoys his time in this city is Eric Dames. Eric Dames has 14 home runs in 22 games against the Reds. He has 7 homers in 12 career games in this ballpark. That is the most by any opposing player since the start of the 2017 season. Dames in the lineup at first base here this afternoon. Freddie Peralta against Matt Harvey. It's game 4. The Brewers trying to win the series. It's coming up next on Fox Sports Wisconsin. A 94-degree day, sunny day in Cincinnati. Brian Anderson, Bill Schroeder, Sophia Minard with you. Our producer today is Brent Breland. This game directed by Phil Malika, and Brian Mikulajic in there doing whatever he does in the truck. Craig Counsell and the Brew Crew trying to make it 3 out of 4 from the Reds. Brewers have only lost twice all year against Cincinnati. They are 7-2 against Cincinnati. Their 7-game winning streak was snapped last night or yesterday afternoon with their second loss of the season. Counsell's had to shake up his lineup a little bit. Arcia down to AAA if you're just joining us. So the batting order looks like this. Brad Miller leads off and plays short. Eric Dames at first. Ryan Braun back in there today. He's in left. In the middle, it's Shaw, Perez, and VR. Perez gets the call in right field with Broxton, Pena, and Peralta rounding out the starting lineup, courtesy of Potawatomi.
Well, Matt Harvey making start number 14 overall, 18th appearance. He was working out of the bullpen in his latter time with the Mets. He made his first start with the Cincinnati Reds back on May 11th. He's won 2 in a row. Last time out, pretty good at Atlanta, 6 2/3, 6 hits, 1 run. Making career start number 4 against Milwaukee here today.
First pitch of the ball game to Brad Miller is up and away, and off we go in Cincinnati. The Brewers will be home tomorrow night. They start a homestand against the Twins and the Braves. That loss yesterday by Milwaukee, coupled with a Cubs win over the Twins, Means the Brewers start play today with a 1.5 game lead in the National League Central. Cubs have won 3 in a row. Brewers have 1 fewer loss than the Cubs, 2 more victories. And the Brewers at 48-34 at 14 games over 500 as we turn the calendar to July. 2-1 to Miller, and he pops it up in the infield. Eugenio Suarez makes the call. He's got it, and that's how the day starts for the 29-year-old Matt Harvey, looking for a resurrection of a career here in the National League Central. How about the defense behind him, Rock?
Yeah, they've been pretty good. I mean, they committed 2 errors yesterday. 48 on the year for Cincinnati. That's good for 7th in the league. Has Duvall, Hamilton, Schebler in the outfield. Suarez, Peraza. Blandino gets his first start in the series at second base. Votto at first. And Tucker Barnhart behind home plate.
No Scooter Gennett in the starting lineup for this finale. It'll be a big bat off the bench for the Reds, but Scooter Gennett, leading the league in hitting, is not in the lineup today. That's a break for Milwaukee. Here's Eric Thames. Thames has had a rough go in the outfield. A misplay in right, a misplay in left. Today he plays first base. There's been no problems with the bat, though. Thames continues to hit. Had another home run yesterday here. It was a first inning home run. Thames now with 11 on the season. 24 runs batted in despite missing 41 games on the schedule with a thumb injury. And a swing and a miss. Harvey picks up the K. First strikeout for Harvey. It's out number 2 of the first inning.
Yeah, slider. Yeah, velocity pretty good first inning here for Harvey. 95 he threw one of his fastballs. Let's check out our Pizza Ranch for the win. As far as Peralta goes, Freddie, no walks. He's got 9 walks in 4 starts. 6 of those came against the Minnesota Twins in start number 2. It's been a good change of scenery for Matt Harvey. His earned run average with the Mets at 7, with the Reds 4.31, and 8's back. Get it? He had a bad back.
I get
It's
it.
much better, and he's back in the lineup, so 8's back.
Number 8 being Ryan Braun, who swings at the first pitch and rolls out to end the inning. Clean start for Matt Harvey. 1, 2, 3 with a strikeout. And now we turn our attention to Freddie Peralta, the 22-year-old top prospect on his way out. Interim manager Jim Riggleman. Brian Price was let go earlier in the season in April. That was right after a series in Milwaukee, actually. And the Reds are hovering around the 500 mark under their new skipper. Brewers have won 2 out of 3 from Cincinnati in this series. Let's check Riggleman's batting order, courtesy of Potawatomi today. It's Peraza, Tucker Barnhart, then Joey Votto. In the middle goes Suarez, Schebler, and Duvall. Alex Blandino gets his first start of the series. Matt Harvey, the pitcher, bats 8th. And then Billy Hamilton, it's 9th. Hamilton was not in the starting lineup yesterday. He's back in there for his 3rd start of the series. Freddie Peralta on the mound for the Brewers. Can he keep it going?
Yeah, outstanding his last time against Kansas City. 7 innings, 1 hit, no runs. In 3 of his 4 starts, he has not allowed a run. That's how good he's been.
Peralta facing Jose Peraza. Well, we've seen Peralta change his game a little bit. He gives a lot of credit to Manny Pena, who gets the call behind the plate for him once again. That's been a comfortable battery for a young pitcher coming up to the big leagues for the first time. And Peralta, his first time out against the Rockies on Mother's Day, mostly fastballs. And then he has started to drift more toward the curveball as an out pitch in his subsequent starts. And it really showed up against Kansas City last time out.
That usage of fastball has gone down in each and every one of his 4 starts. Curveball for strikes early in the count, out of the zone, and swing and misses late in the count. What are you talking about? That first start, 91, nearly 91% fastballs. He threw the 1 changeup. That was the only hit he allowed. That was to David Dahl. You can see how many more off-speed pitches that he's been using lately.
2-1 to count. Peraza fouls it away. And Freddie will vary that fastball as well. It has a natural cut to it, right? Hitters will tell you it's hard to pick up. He's got a little bit of a crossfire action. And there is some unusual movement out of the hand with the Freddie Peralta fastball.
That cut sinks, 4 seams it. Sometimes I'm not sure if he knows what it's going to do when it leaves his hand. And we're not talking about a guy throwing 96, 97 miles an hour. He gets a lot of these swings and misses, you know, low 90s.
Always been a strikeout pitcher throughout his minor league days with the Brewers. Brewers got him from the Mariners at part of the Adam Lind deal. Peraza sends it high in the air left center. And that is going to go off the wall. It bounces out of here. No, it's gone. I beg your pardon. A home run.
It looked like it bounced, didn't it?
I thought it bounced off the warning track, but the second base umpire, Bruce Dreckman, was...
Home plate umpires overruling. It did bounce. It bounced on a warning track.
All right.
It was kind of a strange way that Ryan Braun went after that baseball, almost as if he thought that Broxton was going to be able to get there. You wonder about the range and the mobility for Braun coming off that back tightness. But as soon as that ball was hit up in the air, he was looking at Broxton. Check it out. I mean, just looking at him, and you know, 1 hop over the fence.
I'm not sure why the second base umpire, Bruce Dreckman, immediately started signaling for a home run. I thought I was losing my vision here for a minute, but that is a ground rule double to start this game offensively.
Yeah, it wasn't you that was having trouble with vision.
Here's Tucker Barnhart.
I would imagine that Keon Broxton is going to be relied on heavily to cover that left center field gap, because you figure Braun with that back issue might not have the range that he's had in the past. Still probably bothered a little bit by that tight low back.
No Christian Yelich today. Kane still on the disabled list. Brewers are trying to weather the storm here of injuries. They did make that roster move. If you're just joining us, Sophia reported at the outset that the Brewers sending Arcia down, but bringing up a pitcher, Aaron Wilkerson, who's been pitching well in AAA. Wilkerson will give Counsell some innings, some length in his bullpen. He's been a starting pitcher in AAA, so you're covered in case of a blowout either way. But ideally, the Brewers can grab an early lead and turn it over to their A bullpen, and they should have Hader and Jeffress and Knebel all ready to go today. Hader and Jeffress were not available yesterday, and the Brewers carried a lead into the 6th inning, and then it all fell apart for them.
8-run 7th for the Reds.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Tucker Barnhart. Barnhart, the Gold Glove Award winner last year as the best defensive catcher in the National League. He was not in the starting lineup yesterday, but he did get 2 at-bats, had a couple of hits. He's part of that big inning for Cincinnati, where they brought 11 batters to the plate. Brewers went from a 3-2 lead to a 10-3 deficit in the blink of an eye yesterday in the 7th inning.
Freddie having a little bit of an issue getting the baseball over the plate at this point. And full count to the first hitter. That fastball has such movement on it, and sometimes a little bit too much. Can't find the strike zone. The walks have been down for him lately.
Walked only 1, struck out 10 against the Royals. That is way up and in. 3-2 the count. Coming off his best start as a big leaguer with 7 shutout innings, only 1 hit. His first start as a big leaguer was noteworthy in that he struck out 13, set a Brewer franchise record for strikeouts by a first-time pitcher. That was against Colorado at Coors Field. Struck out 13 Rockies in 5 2/3 innings. But start to finish, the start against the Royals was his best performance. He was in complete control. Only allowed the 1 hit and the 1 walk. Those were the only 2 base runners. 3-2 pitch. Barnhart takes a ball and it bounces to the screen, and over to third goes Peraza. A double and a walk, and the Reds are threatening here in the first inning.
Yep, they tried to throw a 3-2 curveball. That was the pitch of choice in his last start. Having a difficult time getting the feel for it today. That's how much confidence he has in that pitch. You know, Manny tried to backhand it off the glove, and now first and third.
It's unusual for Manny Pena. Normally he gets down and blocks it well. So that's a wild pitch that will put a runner at third base now. First and third, nobody out. Here's Joey Votto. Yesterday the Brewers were in control. Chacin was pitching well, and then it felt like they couldn't get the Reds out. Brewers had to use a position player to finish the game yesterday. Eric Kratz pitched in the game yesterday. Pitched the bottom of the 8th against Cincinnati.
Man, one of the rare times that the bullpen has really had a difficult time. Of course, it wasn't the frontline guys in the pen. Reds low to the bases 3 consecutive innings after Chacin exited the game yesterday.
And then they finally broke through. Very similar to what happened on Friday night. The Brewers had a big 9th inning, scoring 6 runs in the 8th and the 9th in Friday night's win. Votto takes a ball. Boy, not a good day for a tight strike zone here today. We saw it yesterday. Some pitches right on the edges that are not being called, and I know the Brewers are getting extremely frustrated with the lack of calls with Votto at the plate.
Yeah. A big one in yesterday's game.
That was a game changer yesterday. Pitched right about in that same spot. Ended up being a walk to Votto, and the floodgates opened. You don't lay that all on the umpire, but the entire complexion of the inning changed when Votto drew the walk.
Yep, it was a 2-2 pitch, and a fastball from Zagorski was right on the outside corner, not called. Then he ended up walking.
3-1 the count. Votto turns on one, a base hit. That's going to go to the wall. Peraza is in. Tucker Barnhart on his way to third. He'll stop there, and it's an RBI double for Joey Votto. 1-0 Reds.
They can't continue to work from behind. And Joey Votto on a 3-1 pitch. Got a fastball out over the plate. 89 miles an hour. That might have actually been a changeup. Not sure. 89. Kind of in between the fastball, changeup. A little dead fish perhaps, and rips it down the line. And Barnhart has to stay at third base.
Tough start for Freddie Peralta. First 3 batters have reached. 2 doubles and a walk, and here is Eugenio Suarez.
This is a guy, Freddie Peralta, in 4 starts, allowed only 7 hits. Already 2 in the first.
And now the league's best RBI man in Suarez at the plate. Strike 1. 16 homers, 60 runs batted in for Eugenio Suarez. He leads Javier Baez in the RBI race, and that's a base hit. That's going to bring in Barnhart. The ball is dropped by Perez. Votto stays put, though. 2-0 Reds. Still nobody out in the first. Suarez adds to his league leading total. Now 61 runs batted in. And Derek Johnson, the Brewer pitching coach, is on his way to the mound.
Man, unusual to see all the hits against Freddie Peralta. Yeah, 3 hits already in the first inning. Pretty good piece of hitting by Suarez. This guy's been swinging the bat well the entire series. Seems like the only guy that's been able to retire Suarez was Eric Kratz yesterday in the 9th or in the 8th.
Yeah, he threw him a 59-mile-an-hour knuckleball.
But he's been barreling up everything.
Now, this is worst-case scenario start for Peralta, hoping he can get it together quickly. This is a Reds lineup that can bang with the best of them. So Cincinnati comes in with a record of 35-48. They're in last place in the division, but they're a much different team than what the Brewers saw earlier this year.
And the Brewers able to hold them down in the first 2 games of the series. Not so much yesterday, and they're off to a really good start today. Up and down this lineup, they can swing it.
Four consecutive base runners, 2 doubles, a single, and a walk. 2-0 Reds, and here is Scott Schebler to face Peralta. Schebler in right field. He started in center field yesterday. I think that is the fastball, Rock. He's not getting the kind of velocity on his fastball that we've seen so far.
And 91, I think he's topped out at 91, maybe 92, but you're right, low 80s, or I should say upper 80s has been the norm for him. And 90 miles an hour right there, but you know, falling behind in the count on a consistent basis here.
One ball, 1 strike on Scott Schebler.
And the curveball really hanging up in the strike zone. That was a hanger that Schebler was out in front on. And the curveball was such a good pitch for him against the Royals. Had good break to it. Was able to throw it first pitch strike and really snap one off with 2 strikes and get some strikeouts.
We've seen Peralta throw in the mid-90s this year. His best fastball yet, 92. Here's a 1-2, and Schebler slaps out into the opposite field. This is another hit, and another run is in. And this feels a lot like the 7th inning last night. 3-0 Reds, no outs yet. 4 hits and a walk, and already the Brewers digging themselves in a deep hole today.
Fastball that had some tail on it. That's a pretty good piece of hitting by Schebler, going right with it. Travis Shaw off the line. That ball was going away from Schebler, and he's able to hit it where it was pitched. And make some pretty good contact. Already 4 hits.
Here is Adam Duvall now, first and second. 24 pitches into this inning. Peralta does not have an out. The Brewers will be very cautious with Peralta as he starts to drift into what they would consider the danger zone. You get into the 30+ pitches in an inning, they are certainly going to get the bullpen active.
It's probably a good idea based on how this one's starting that you bring up Aaron Wilkerson, who's been starting, and he was due to make a start today. So he's right on schedule.
May see him shortly if Peralta doesn't get it turned around. Yeah, there's just nothing on the fastball today for Peralta. 1 ball, 1 strike. Reds have 3 runs in, first and second. Adam Duvall at the plate. Count goes to 1-2. Duvall, a former All-Star, just 2 years ago made the All-Star team. He's in a bit of a revolving door right now in the outfield. It's a 4-man rotation for Jim Riggleman. That includes Jesse Winker, who's not in the starting lineup today. 1-2 the count. He lays off. Able to check his swing. 2-2 now.
Kind of interesting that Jim Riggleman sits 2 of his left-handers with Peralta out on the mound. 2 lefties, 2 switch hitters for the Reds today.
Peralta desperate for a double play ball. He's a fly ball pitcher typically. 2-2 the count. And a pickoff play, back in time, Suarez. Now Matt Harvey retired the Brewers in order in the top of the first, had a strikeout. Still nobody out here in the bottom of the first. Three and 2.
Just missing those edges. On his first few starts, he was able to find the corner with those pitches.
Pitch number 30 of the inning. Count remains at 3-2.
You have a high pitch count in the first inning. It really wears a pitcher out because you're really not, dialed in, and you don't have that comfort zone out on the mound yet. A foreign mound to start with, so uncomfortable to start out with. First time he's ever faced the Reds, of course. But these high pitch count first innings take it out of you, especially in the heat.
Another payoff pitch to Duvall, and it's ball 4. Wow. This is the worst start you could imagine. And Craig Counsell is getting backed in a corner here. He is certainly going to have to make a move.
At some point, you got to get Wilkerson up.
The bases are loaded with nobody out. Peralta's thrown 31 pitches. The first 6 batters have reached. And here is Alex Blandino. Blandino gets the start for Jeanette today. Pinch hit appearance last night for Blandino. He has been the Reds' best pinch hitter this season.
Not going to get a whole lot of playing time when you have Scooter Gennett at second base and Peraza at short. Both of those guys, they play pretty much every day. Rare day off for Scooter today.
A Sunday start for Blandino. 1-2 now on the Red second baseman. Might be time to play the triple play card, Rock. We haven't played that one all year.
Maybe it's do-over. We can start this one again.
One ball, two strikes. And down he goes. The first out of the game for Freddie Peralta.
Able to stick the curveball for a strike. Good pitch.
On his 35th pitch of the inning, gets his first out.
That maybe got a little off the edge. Blandino didn't like it. Alfonso Marquez rings it up.
Here's the pitcher, Matt Harvey. Cincinnati has their pitcher batting 8th with Billy Hamilton in the starting lineup today. That's been the rhythm of Riggleman. The speedy Hamilton hits 9th. Kind of a secondary leadoff hitter when it all gets rolling in the lineup.
Hamilton not in the starting lineup in yesterday's ball game, and they had the pitcher in the 9th spot. So it's all about Hamilton in that 9th spot. When he plays, that's where he hits. Kind of back-to-back leadoff hitters as you get through the lineup. More guys on for Votto and Suarez.
Harvey strikes out. Back-to-back Ks for Peralta. And the Reds are going to bat around in this first inning. Here comes the 9-hole hitter, Billy Hamilton, with the bases loaded and 2 outs. Three runs are in. Reds have them loaded. Hamilton lost the grip on that bat.
He always has been very vulnerable to that high fastball. Brewers have been attacking him in this series with the breaking pitch, the curveball.
It's hard to say that Peralta would be fortunate to get out of this first inning with only 3 runs, but considering 3 runs were in and the bases were loaded with nobody out, it would be.
Well, if he gets this out, it could have been a lot worse. You're right.
Pitch number 41 coming from Peralta. That's strike 2. Well, it's a hot day. The ball's flying. Always a hitter-friendly ballpark. Get out of this inning. Give your team a chance to come back. There's a lot of baseball to be played yet. 1-2 pitch. Hamilton fouls it back. Aaron Wilkerson starting to get loose in that Brewer bullpen.
And not yet on the pitching rubber, so he's just starting.
I mean, he's a starting pitcher, so there's a much different routine for him to prepare for a game. Can't imagine he would be available within the next 2 hitters.
Right.
We'll see if Freddie can get through it now. 1-2 the count. And a swing and a miss. He strikes out the last 3. What a strange inning. Strikes out the side, but the Reds score 3 as the first 6 batters reach.
2-0 lead here at Great American Ballpark. And before the game today, the Brewers made a move sending Orlando Arcia down to AAA. It's a 197 average for him, and it's been a season-long struggle for him at the plate. Craig Counsell saying that this move was really in the long term about getting Orlando going at the plate. There's still the confidence that he can do that. And so this is sort of another attempt at their original plan when they sent him down the first time, but he was only there for 4 games before the injury to Tyler Saladino. So BA and Rocky, you guys did say Aaron Wilkerson called up. He is here, as we saw him earlier getting warmed up in the bullpen. He had some long travel this morning, but did arrive here at the ballpark around 11.
Yeah, that is a long day coming from Colorado Springs. Here's Travis Shaw, who sends one to right. It's going to stay in the ballpark. And there is out number 1. Yeah, Harvey's retired the first 4.
Yeah, and it was Wilkerson's day to pitch today. And that's how the Brewers kind of determine who they want to bring up of their starters. Who was available to pitch that particular day. No sense of bringing up a guy that just made a start a couple of days ago that's not, ready to pitch. Wilkerson was that guy today down in the minor leagues. That's why he's here.
Been pitching well. Wilkerson missed the first 5 weeks of the minor league season. Had a fracture in his shoulder, his non-throwing shoulder, the left arm. He returned on May 13th, so he's made 8 appearances, 7 starts in AAA, and he's been dealing in the Pacific Coast League. It's tough to keep an ERA around 2 in that league, but that's what Wilkerson has done, so he has earned his call-up.
Yeah, we saw him last year. He came up from AA last year.
Matt Harvey staked to a 3-0 lead. Perez a swing and a miss, the second strikeout for Harvey.
Brewer hitters have been chasing that breaking pitch off the plate last couple of nights, or last couple of days.
Yesterday, Reds pitching had 18 strikeouts in the game. That set a 9-inning record for Reds franchise history, which goes back as far as you can go back. It is the original team in the National League.
Yeah, that goes back away about what, 130 years?
1876 to be exact. But yeah, it's a lot of strikeouts yesterday
on pitches just like the one that Hernan swung at. Pitches, the sliders off the outside corner.
Jonathan VR had an RBI double yesterday. 1869 was the inaugural season of the Reds. So even though the strikeout numbers and statistics weren't really that sophisticated back then, you get the point. You set a Reds record in franchise history, you've really done something. That's a 1-2-3 inning for Harvey, minimizing his team on the field. And here we go to the bottom of the 2nd inning.
Brewers series finale against the Braves will take home a retro Robin Yount 1970s replica jersey that's courtesy of Orbis Corporation. To book your seats, visit brewers.com/tickets.
Well, see if Freddie Peralta can right the ship here. He is down 3-0. And a 43-pitch first inning. He is back on the mound, and Peraza leads off a liner right to Braun for out number 1. 1 pitch and 1 out. Peralta will take that.
Regardless of what happens the rest of the way, it's going to be a short start for Freddie. That's a way to do it right there. Keep the sun off your neck.
Tucker Barnhart now with 1 away. What was that old baseball thing that guys used to do? Put the lettuce,
cabbage leaves
under their hat, right?
On the AstroTurf. I know Willie Starswell used to do that at old Three Rivers Stadium.
Tucker Barnhart with a little flare, and that is going to fall for a base hit. Barnhart on for the 2nd time.
And just be glad that you're not in the old ballpark right now with the temperatures the way they are. Old riverfront with the AstroTurf. It can get ugly hot. A little flare out there into short left field. Miller picks it up.
It's another base runner against Freddie Peralta. Reds had 4 hits and 2 walks in the first inning. Joey Votto had an RBI double. Votto, the National League leader in walks and on base percentage. Starting play today. Peralta starting to dial in that curveball a little bit better. It's one of the better ones he's thrown right there. And it's 1-2. Umbrella's out. Trying to find a shady spot. This 1 o'clock local start here in Cincinnati. It's 94 degrees, but it's over 100 on the field. Look out. Up and in. Drops Votto, and it goes to 2-2 now.
Trying to come inside, just got away from him a little bit. Up and in. Votto likes to cover that outside corner. Watch the first move for Votto. Just misses the shoulder.
Two the count. Shift is on for Votto. And a breaking ball misses. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Votto had an 0 for 12 streak snapped on Friday. Had a hit in the 9th inning on Friday. That RBI double, just his 3rd hit in his last 18 at bats. A bit of a downturn. Those usually don't last long with Joey Votto.
And even if he doesn't get hits, he's going to be on base a lot. He walks a ton. So he can help you offensively, even though he's not getting hits. Draw some walks.
He has led the league in walks 5 times in his career. Was voted the Reds MVP again last season. 3-2 the count. Barnhart the runner at first. There he goes, and the pitch is outside, ball 4. Throw doesn't matter. 2 more Reds on base. Still 1 out. That was a line drive out. And here comes Eugenio Suarez.
Yeah, Votto now with 64 walks on the season. He's only been walked intentionally 3 times this year. It's kind of amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, that's normally a category he is up there among the leaders.
Of course, you know, normally Scooter Jeanette's behind him in the batting order, so I guess they're trying to choose your poison, Votto or Jeanette, the way Jeanette's been.
2 on, 1 away. Eugenio Suarez at the plate. Drove in a run with a single to right last time up. Two high curveballs.
Yeah, you see that curveball against Kansas City was down around the knees, and he was getting swings on it. Doesn't have that sharp, quick bite to it. It's one of those days, just doesn't have his good stuff. He's got to fight through it.
0-2 the count. Suarez a half swing, checks his swing. 1-2 now.
And just because he doesn't have it in the first couple innings doesn't mean he can't find it. Got to keep working.
Eugenio Suarez is trying to do something for the Reds that has not been done since 1985, trying to lead the league in RBIs. Not since Dave Parker drove in 125 runs in 1985 has a Reds player led the NL in RBIs. On the ground, chance for 2, needs it. Miller to first in time, and Freddie Peralta works a scoreless second inning. Needed that one desperately. We go to the 3rd. It's 3-0 Reds. First, Freddie Peralta just putting up a 0 in the second. Keon Broxton ready to lead off for Milwaukee. What a performance he had on Friday. He called it maybe one of the best games he's ever had as a major leaguer. Hit 2 home runs in the game. He drove in 4. He made a couple of beautiful catches in the outfield. He had a mad dash running the bases to score a run as well. And it was one of those games he will not soon forget, just arriving back to the big leagues last Tuesday. And how about Keon Broxton filling in the holes left by the injured center fielders, Kane and Yelich.
Yeah, I mean, he covers a lot of ground. I mean, he did it in all 3 aspects. At the plate, on the bases, and in the field. Good job for Keon Broxton. Had to be very gratifying for him after 3 months down in the minor leagues.
Matt Harvey has retired the first 6 he's faced. He has 2 strikeouts. Well, coincidence or not, the Reds started playing better when they acquired Matt Harvey, if you draw that line on May 8th. That was a dead end in New York. Needed a change of scenery. And Harvey, who was an all-star in 2013, remember they nicknamed him the Dark Knight, cover of Sports Illustrated. Tom Verducci wrote the article about the next great thing in baseball, and it has been an enigma. He had Tommy John surgery in 14, and so you cut him a little slack for the injury, but he's really not been able to come back like the Mets had hoped, so much so they gave up on him and made the deal. As a called strike 3, Harvey rings up Broxton. 7 straight retire. That's a 3rd strikeout for Harvey.
He's got good command. He's not a guy that walks too many. You know, I should say, since he's been over with the Cincinnati Reds, he's only walked 12. He's had 34 strikeouts coming into play today, and able to catch the bottom part of the strike zone with that pitch. Much different guy. I think the pressure's off of him. As you mentioned, he's not the first guy that a change of scenery has really done him good.
Now, when he first came up, he was throwing in the upper 90s with that wicked slider. Played his college ball at North Carolina, was the 7th pick in 2010. And so there was a lot of expectations of him going in, but each year beyond his surgery, he's been getting a little bit stronger, and now he gets the full click with the Reds as Pena fouls one. I think just getting into Cincinnati, getting into a different market. The Reds would most likely trade Harvey. If he pitches well, this would be a player that the Reds would try to get some prospects in return for. They'll have a few players in that category. Been a lot of discussion about Scooter Gennett, who heads into arbitration, which means he's going to get a big salary increase, especially with the numbers he's put up offensively. Jim Riggleman is still the interim manager here in Cincinnati. They have no designs on a postseason, but they would like to continue their rebuild. Pena pops it up. Blandino is back in the grass for out number 2, and that's 8 in a row. They're pretty close to being a finished product, the Reds. They are a few starters away from getting there. Their lineup is certainly postseason ready. Their bullpen is excellent.
Terrific closer, Iglesias. He's nasty.
We haven't even seen Iglesias yet in this series.
He's got 15 saves.
That would be the one piece that the Reds could get a haul back for. I mean, you're talking probably 3 front line, maybe 4 prospects in return for Raisel Iglesias. Any team in playoff contention is going to want to make that phone call and see if there's any interest or if there is a match, because he's a game changer. Freddie Peralta down 1-2. The Brewer pitcher. Reds brought 9 men to the plate in the first. Matt Harvey facing his 9th batter here in the 3rd. He's got pretty good command of that outside corner right now. Just missed on that fastball. Back out there he goes. 9 up, 9 down, 4 strikeouts. First time through the batting order for Matt Harvey.
Brewers baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by the Wisconsin Lottery, reminding you to please play responsibly. By Ascension, coming together to give healthcare a better name. We are Ascension. And by Wisconsin Dells, the water park capital of the world.
Good place to be right under that fountain in Fountain Square. 3-0 Cincinnati as we go to the bottom of the third. A reminder that the Bucks open up next season. A brand new arena is coming, and you can lock in your seats. Season ticket packages for the 2018-19 season on sale now. Purchase yours today. FoxSportsWisconsin.com/events. Freddie Peralta back on the mound, pitching in his 3rd inning. First ball swinging. Scott Schebler, and Broxton makes the catch.
Wow.
Oh, what a play by Broxton.
This guy's something else in the outfield.
Scaling the wall, and Keon runs it down.
Man, he went hard into that wall out there in center. Fearless going against the fence. And there's padding out there, but it doesn't help a whole lot. Perfectly times his leap, crashes into the fence, and able to hold on to it. Heck of a play by Keon Broxton.
Amazing. He was able to hang on to it. Freddie Peralta, even with a smile, says thank you very much, Keon.
You're welcome.
Boys, he had an impact in this series.
Yeah.
It's got to feel great for him to come back to the big leagues and perform like this. One away. Here is Adam Duvall.
Just trying to find the consistency at the plate. That's the thing that has kept him from being a really good major league player. Day in and day out, keep that same approach at the plate. There's no questioning his ability to play the outfield.
Had 2 homers here on Friday night. Hit 9 homers in AAA. He knows he can hit the long ball. He's changed his batting stance a little bit. And he talked to Sophia about that. The idea that when he's in a struggle, when he's not feeling it at the plate, when he's not getting his hits, to minimize those slumps instead of the 2-week, 3-week slumps. Try to cut it into a couple days.
And the way you do that is figuring out ways to put the ball in play, not to swing and a miss so much. And with his good speed, I mean, just put it on the ground somewhere. You're probably going to beat out some infield hits.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Duvall. And a little soft liner right to Shaw for out number 2. 2 up, 2 down for Peralta. And here is Alex Blandino now. This is where it turned for Peralta in the first inning. The first 6 batters it reached on 4 hits and 2 walks. There were 3 runs in, and the bases were loaded with nobody out. And then Peralta struck out Blandino looking, struck out the next 2 hitters, and got out of the first. That could have been a whole lot worse. This game could have been borderline over had the Reds kept going in the first inning.
Brewers still in it, and Peralta is starting to feel a little bit out there. Much better location, throwing strikes, getting ahead in the count a little bit better. Still doesn't have that good curveball that he had his last time out.
One thing the Brewers talk a lot about with Peralta coming up through the minor leagues was his poise. He's a young guy, but he handles himself well, and he has come back strong now with a 3-up, 3-down third. His best inning yet. Let's see if the offense can pick him up. Top of the order is coming up. It's 3-0 Reds.
The 4th, and taking a look at our UW Whitewater minor league scouting report, looking at center fielder Corey Ray, the 6th best prospect in the organization. Over his last 3 games, he's gone 4 for 12 with 2 homers, a double in there as well. And on the season with Biloxi, it's been 11 home runs, 38 RBIs, 19 stolen bases for Corey Ray. Good to see him with that production in Biloxi. And BA and Rock, speaking of some other Brewers outfielders, Ryan Braun obviously back in the lineup after missing yesterday with the back tightness. Christian Yelich has been dealing with back tightness going back to Thursday in the series opener. Today was really the first day for him that he was testing that back. He did some swings before the game, and Craig Counsell said that they're going to need some significant progress from Yelich either today or tomorrow. If not, they're likely looking at putting him on the disabled list. And for Lorenzo Cain, another step forward. He was on the treadmill yesterday, and if all goes well, he'll be on the field tomorrow at Miller Park doing some agility work. He'll test that groin strain running the bases on Tuesday, but he's getting pretty close to being activated from the disabled list.
All right, thanks a lot, Sophia. Good reporting there. A lot of news going on. The Brewers trying to weather this storm of injuries and try to figure out how to manipulate the roster. Trying not to put guys like Yelich or Braun on the disabled list. Matt Harvey back to work, top of the Brewers order. Brad Miller fouls one away.
You know, but if you have to, it's not like that old 15-day DL.
Yeah.
I mean, teams have used that pretty effectively this year, and the Brewers have as well. It's a 10-day DL. You can retroactive it back to 3 days from when you put a guy on. You can't wait a week and have it 5 days, but still, I mean, you're not missing a whole lot of time, and you're not going to have to play shorthanded.
Brad Miller strikes out. Matt Harvey is on a roll right now. He's retired 10 straight, 5 strikeouts.
His season high with the Reds this year is 6.
Well, the Brewers are in a strikeout binge right now. That's going to have to change.
Yeah.
18 strikeouts yesterday for the Brewer offense. Of the 27 outs recorded, 18 were strikeouts. And half the outs today are via the K. One away for Eric Thames. Ground ball over to first base. Votto will flip it to Harvey. There is out number 2. Here comes Ryan Braun with 2 away. He swung at the first pitch his first time up, bounced over to third base. He is by no means 100% today. He's trying to dig it out and play, understanding the scenario. Yelich the worse off of the 2 with Braun and Yelich. Braun had to leave the game on Saturday. Or on Friday, I beg your pardon. Yelich left the game Thursday after his first at bat. Braun left mid-game Friday night. But you got to give credit to guys like Broxton and Hernan Perez. Both have played well in replacement of those 2.
Well, you got to tip your hat to Thames too. I mean, out of position, playing right, playing left. He's had some misplays out there, but figuring it out, trying to figure it out there.
Well, the Brewers are going quietly against Matt Harvey. 12 up, 12 down, 5 strikeouts, still 3-0. Take a look at some of the defense he's had in this series. Nice running catch Friday, then that layout robbing Jeanette of an extra base hit. And then today he's put another one on the reel. Deep fly ball to right center, and Broxton catches it as he crashes into the wall.
Just incredible stuff out of Keon Broxton. How many great center fielders can one team have, right? I mean, Lorenzo Cain, you got Yelich, Brett Phillips down in the minor leagues, and Keon Broxton doing a great job.
An embarrassment of riches at the center field position for the Brewers. 3-0 Reds, all 3 runs coming in the first. Matt Harvey is dealing on the other side. He's gone 4 no-hit perfect innings with 5 Ks. Harvey leads off this 4th inning. Peralta coming off his best inning, 1-2-3 with a K. One ball, 2 strikes. Harvey a swinging strikeout victim his last time up. Just turned 22 years of age, Freddie Peralta. high strikeout numbers all through the minor league system, AA to AAA. Harvey pop up, back his Thames, over his VR, long run, that's foul, that's going to fall. Now VR was covering the middle, he had a long way to go. Perez deep in right, he's got a long way to go. Those two are about as fast as the Brewers have, and unable to get there.
And a tough angle for Thames.
Two the count on the Reds pitcher, way inside. Peralta goes full now. Trying to clean up this start here for Peralta. Got to get the pitcher to start this fourth inning. He's been able to turn it around since a troubling first.
And that's what you like about this young man. I mean, he really came out of the bullpen, didn't really have much. Much better last couple innings. Fighting through it, fighting through a really rough start.
Harvey spoils another one. 8 pitches in this at bat already for Matt Harvey, adding to that pitch count. We'll do it again. Another 3-2 pitch. Fouls another one off. Well, maybe he'll wear himself out at the plate.
Pretty good swings for a guy hitting .077.
He could handle the bat a little bit with the Mets.
Yeah.
All their pitchers could. Remember Syndergaard and DeGrom and Matt Harvey. Finally got him a strikeout.
Get it up in the zone a little bit different. Oh, the foul balls came on pitches down a bit. Hey, go sleeveless in style this summer by picking up a one-of-a-kind Brewers tank top given to the first 20,000 fans at Miller Park. For Tuesday's game against the Minnesota Twins, courtesy of Pick and Save, reserve your seats by visiting brewers.com/tickets.
Good way to show off the gun truck.
Yeah.
Sun's out.
Are you a sleeveless tank top guy?
That day's long past.
Backyard maybe? By yourself?
Maybe. There used to be a day in my ute when I would get a brand new shirt and immediately cut the sleeves off. Yeah. Not for, you know, just hanging out at the lake and in the summertime.
Yeah, you'd be.
That's it.
Hanging around, you know, hanging around Austin, and walking around downtown.
Yeah, walking around in 103-degree heat.
Guns out.
So Juan Hopper got to hurry it over to first. Shaw's throw just in time to get the speedy Hamilton. 2 up, 2 down here for Peralta.
You remember the old mesh T-shirts?
Oh yeah,
those were big when I was in college.
I bet they were. Half shirts.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, got the abs out.
That would not be a good look for me now.
No. Abs are one thing, boilers are another.
Yep.
Yeah, we used to be something once. Two up, 2 down. Top of the order, Jose Peraza. Peraza lined out his last time up. He doubled. A ground rule double into deep left center in the first inning. Peralta in a 2-0 count. Just trying to keep the Reds at 3, give his offense a chance to come back. Brewers have nothing against Matt Harvey yet. 3-0. Stay hydrated. If you feel thirsty, it's too late, as the Brewers athletic trainers remind us all the time. There's a strike.
Yeah, they put up signs around the clubhouse for the guys.
It's good baseball weather, though. Easy to get loose. Players don't mind. In the air to right field. And Perez will make the catch. Freddie Peralta starting to get it turned around now. He's retired 7 straight. 3 up, 3 down, 4th.
A photo or video with hashtag Hats Off for Heroes. For each post, T-Mobile will donate $1 to support veterans.
4 in the books on a hot Sunday afternoon in Cincinnati. The Reds scored 3 runs in the first inning before there was an out. Freddie Peralta has settled in since. Meanwhile, Matt Harvey has 4 perfect innings on the board. He has struck out 5. And the Brewers are trying to get a man on base. They'll have Shaw, Perez, and Villar coming up. Harvey just had a long battle at the plate with Peralta. Saw 10 pitches in that at bat. And back to work he goes.
Brewers have only had 1 ball out of the infield. That was a Travis Shaw fly ball to right. So not a whole lot of hard contact off of Matt Harvey so far today.
Just 41 pitches through the first 4 innings for Harvey. As efficient as you can do it. And there's the first base hit. Travis Shaw goes to the opposite field. And the Brewers finally get a man on and finally get Matt Harvey in the stretch.
Yeah, it'd be nice to get Travis Shaw hot. Probably, feeling like that wrist is starting to feel a little bit better. Taking a pitch, going away from him and hitting it hard out there into left field, beating the shift. Good piece of hitting by Shaw, not trying to pull it.
Saw Travis's dad Jeff here before the ball game today. The former Reds closer, former All-Star closer in the major leagues. Here's Hernan Perez.
Teammates with the Cowboy just to our right, Jeff Brantley.
Yeah, they had quite a bullpen in Cincinnati for a long time. A couple of different waves of successful bullpens. Remember the Nasty Boys? Norm Charlton and Rob Dibble, Randy Myers.
Yeah. There's the Cowboy.
The Cowboy, Jeff Brantley.
Hanging out, doing radio with Marty Brenneman.
He's got a whole cooler full of sodas and a box full of Dunkin' Donuts. I mean, that's the way we roll up here in the press box. I always enjoy being around the Reds broadcasters. Marty Brenneman, the Hall of Famer, the legend. And his son Tom does television for the Reds. Tom's not here this weekend. Jim Day doing the play-by-play on the television side with Chris Welsh, one of our favorite guys. 2-1 to Perez. High fly ball left center, got some carry, but Hamilton at the track will run it down for the out.
Yeah,
just missed it.
Yeah, did a little bit down on the end. They kept it in the ballpark, but pretty good swing by Perez. Just missed it. That's the thing about this Brewers offense. They're just one swing away from climbing right back into this thing.
Jonathan VR with one away. VR had an RBI double in yesterday's game. Flew out to left field his first time up. VR last homered on June 11th. That was against Jose Quintana of the Cubs. That was at Miller Park. He is 1 for 7 in this series with the Reds. That double yesterday that produced a run. Had a rough homestand too, just 3 for 20. He's another bat. A lot of eyes on Arcia and his lack of production at the plate, but VR is in a bit of a slump himself. His batting average starting play today at 258. Remember, he was hitting in the upper 200s for a good portion of the season.
Yeah, not that long ago.
Be nice to break out of it right here. VR starting at second base today. It's his 59th start there. He can play all over. He is a shortstop by trade, but he has not made a start at shortstop this season. The Brewers have had 5 different players start at short. 2-2 now.
A few years ago, he was the everyday shortstop until Arcia came up.
Yeah, he played short for the Astros as well prior to the trade to Milwaukee. Now Craig Counsell's concern is with the bottom of the order, and that contains the middle infield positions. Trying to find some offense from that group. If you're just joining us, Orlando Arcia was sent to AAA today. Brewers brought up a pitcher, Aaron Wilkerson. We saw Wilkerson warming up in the second inning. Peralta settled down though, and haven't seen Wilkerson yet. VR strikes out. That is number 6 for Matt Harvey. 2 outs here in the 5th inning. Here comes Keon Broxton. Dan Jennings starting to get loose now for the Brewers. You got a switch hitter to lead off in Barnhart, and then Votto to follow.
And then Suarez, the right hand, and another left-hander.
Now, if Peralta's spot comes up this inning, you can guarantee there'll be a pinch hit and a pitching change. Broxton is the 7th place hitter. Brewers would have to get a couple of men on base. Might be the end of the line anyway for Peralta. We'll see how Counsell plays it. It is impressive that Peralta was able to settle down and pitch at least 4 innings and maybe 5.
Yeah, they'd give up on himself right after a very bad first inning. They found it a little bit. Better location on the fastball. My guess is if he does not hit here, why not send him out again?
See if he can buy another inning. Keon down, 1 ball, 2 strikes. He struck out looking in the 3rd. Harvey got him on an outside corner fastball in the 3rd inning. Keon has power to all fields. Right back to the mound. Harvey with a low throw dug out by Votto. But he is through 5 scoreless. The no-hitter is gone. Travis Shaw with a base hit breaks that up. It's still 3-0.
This afternoon, the Angels visiting the Orioles in Baltimore, and it didn't take Manny Machado long to get to work. Here's a look at his 2-run shot in the 4th to give the Orioles a 3-1 lead, his 21st home run of the season. The Orioles currently lead that one 6-1 in the 5th over the Angels, and as we get into July, Manny Machado will just continue to be a big story here over the next few weeks leading up until the trade deadline.
That is the #1 name among position players. And what will the Orioles do? Will they trade him? What will they ask for? Orioles typically a team that will sit on players like that right to the bitter end. And there are a lot of teams that will certainly have interest in Manny Machado. Peralta continues here in the 5th inning. Here's Tucker Barnhart to lead off.
Yeah, he'd fit in any lineup.
Yeah.
I mean, you find a place for him, shortstop, third base, anywhere. I imagine the Orioles are going to be getting a boatload for him.
Yep, that's the kind of deal that if you're the Orioles, you're looking to change the arc of your franchise. Unlikely they're going to sign Machado. I mean, obviously they're not going to now at this point. So it would be a rental of an impact player. A little rollover to first base. Thames to Peralta. And Freddie's got it going now. Boy, impressive comeback by this kid. This may be more impressive what he's showing right now than what we've seen in some of his good starts when everything's going well.
Yeah, good mental makeup. I mean, the toughness to be able to battle through a very bad first inning and then all of a sudden get things together. Impressive for a young guy. I mean, there are pitchers out there that they have a bad first inning and they kind of just let down and basically throw the hands up and say, I just don't have it today. And you got to like the way he's pressed on today.
Well, think about this as he opens Votto with a strike. He's pitching in the first inning. He's got 34 pitches in. 3 runs have scored. He has not gotten an out. And he turns it. He strikes out 3 batters to end the inning. Put up a scoreless second inning. Got a double play ball from Eugenio Suarez. And he is now retired 8 straight for 9 outs. 8 straight outs at the plate, resulting in 9 outs. Votto in the air to left field. Braun on the run. He's got it for out number 2.
Yeah, better location. Not necessarily throwing any harder, but able to put the baseball much better where he wants it, where Manny's setting up. Still really doesn't have that good curveball like he did last time out, but able to battle through it with just basically 1 pitch. He did get that rollover to Tucker Barnhart on a changeup.
2 outs in the inning. 9 in a row retired.
It's supposed to rain today?
I don't know, but that's either a UFO or a giant cloud that has passed over Great American Ballpark right now.
Yeah, I've been watching between innings. The grounds crew, the groundskeeper has been showing home plate umpire a radar. That's never good.
No. Swing and a miss. Suarez. 0-2 the count. Well, that means it must be a UFO then. Giant black glob up above us. We're ready. Take us. Suarez out in front. Fly ball to center field. And it's carrying, and Broxton is back, and he makes the catch to end the inning. Freddie Peralta, impressive. 10 in a row he has retired. The Brewers are down 3-0. Can they get some offense against Matt Harvey? We're on our way to the 6th inning.
As they trail 3-0 here in the 6th, Freddie Peralta likely done for the day, and quite an odd outing for him. After the first 6 batters reached against him to score 3 runs, he came back and retired the last 10 batters that he faced. And he got a lot of high fives and comments from pitching coach Derek Johnson on that outing. But the confidence for Freddie Peralta has been there since he came up and made his Major League debut on Mother's Day. And I asked him where that came from, and he said really it comes back to when he was traded to the Brewers from the Mariners in 2016 as he worked his way up the minors, especially the success he had last year and the start in AAA with Colorado Springs this year. He says the confidence has just always been something that he relies on, and it's a big part of his game.
All right, Sophia, thank you. By the way, Sophia, you are the best.
Gamer.
She did not have the umbrella out when she started that report. I was watching the whole time.
Yep.
She's doing the report perfectly as always, and with holding the mic in her right hand, operating the umbrella in the left hand.
I know.
Have you ever tried to open an umbrella one-handed?
No.
That's not easy to do.
Rock, I could have used a warning like how your elbow was feeling.
Yeah.
The sky was going to open up and start raining.
I believe we were talking about the possibility of rain. So I noticed, Sophia, though, you had the umbrella out when it was really sunny.
Yeah, so I have to give manager Craig Counsell a lot of credit. He was the real MVP and made sure I had an umbrella before the game for the sun and apparently the rain.
He manages players and he manages broadcasters.
He's the best.
That was impressive. Sophia has another moment in her reel where she does something extraordinary as Pena grounds out. Kind of reminds me when she was in the middle of a report and she got hit by that throw.
Right.
Knocked the mic out of her hand.
Picked
She
it
just
up.
picked it up, kept going.
Yep.
Yeah, we don't need a repeat of that either.
That was amazing. You're like Freddie Peralta at that point, Sophia. You were the prospect. We were wondering how you were going to handle adversity, and you handled it beautifully. By the way, it's really raining now, Sophia.
It is really raining. This is crazy. Everyone is scattering down here.
Eric Sogard will hit for Peralta. This must be a brief shower, because this would be the time you'd bring the tarp out if
and again,
in this kind of rain.
You know, the tarp still has the cover on it, so that leads me to believe that the grounds crew is not too concerned.
Perhaps an isolated cell.
A clear-up storm.
Wow, some thunder going on. Yep, that's the tarp underneath the cover.
Yeah. Usually they take the cover off as they thought there was going to be a problem.
Right back to the mound. Harvey with 2 outs. I'm sure Craig Counsell is wondering, why are we playing in this? But umpires are going to let it ride.
Might cool things off.
Oh, it definitely has cooled things off. You know what would solve all of this? A roof. But they don't have one.
I tell you, we talk about you know, Sophia being a gamer. Look at Craig Counsell down there. I mean, everybody else is under the overhang of the dugout. He and Derek Johnson standing in the rain, starting to lightning now.
Yeah, that was a big pop of lightning right there. Did you count the seconds between the lightning flash and the thunder?
1/1000. It tells you how close it is.
Brad Miller, a little half swing foul. It's 0-2. I would imagine this works in the favor of Harvey as long as you can keep the hand dry. Can't be easy to hit in a rainstorm like this. 0-2 pitch. Miller lines one through for a base hit. So Miller with a clean single, the second hit of the game for the Brewers. And boy, isn't that something? The guy gets a hit. Now they decide the tarp needs to come on the field. So here comes the grounds crew, and here comes the tarp on a Sunday afternoon. And we are going to have a rain delay in Cincinnati in the final game of this series. Odds are, as soon as they get the tarp fully unraveled, it'll stop raining.
I think what spooked the umpires was the lightning. They might have been considering playing through it, but they don't mess around with the lightning. Isn't that the way it is with golf too?
Oh yeah.
Playing in some light rain, but you start getting some lightning and thunder, siren goes off.
Yeah, as soon as you see the lightning, it becomes too risky. There is a lot of wind blowing right now. This is not going to be easy to get the tarp down. So this would be worth staying for. You know, I've been on a tarp crew before.
I know,
Rock.
you were an expert tarp puller.
I was going to go pro at one point.
And what happened?
Well, my career path went another way, but these guys are doing an excellent job.
And no problem for them.
They could use a little more help here on the bottom side. But one really strong individual's handled it. And the tarp is down. Now you got to weight it down so it doesn't blow away. Oh, look out.
Where would you be on the tarp crew?
I'd be up here in a supervisory role with a walkie-talkie.
Would you be on the end or in the middle?
You never want to be in the middle. You definitely want to be on the end. There's an escape route on the end, but you've got to put everything you have available to you right now on the tarp. So the metal roll-up is an option. You could drive some carts out. For now, human beings are in play.
It's not good to have air underneath, right?
No, got to get the air out, and then you got to start put the sandbags down. You got to get the people off the field. I would give this a B+ tarp pull right here.
No doubt. I mean,
B+.
You know why it's B+, and I don't know why it's not an A. I'd give them an A, but you know they had to pull the cover off the tarp first.
Right.
I mean, they were caught by surprise here.
I don't think your eye for tarp pulling is. I can understand why you give them an A, because you know, you're not as skilled of a viewer The reason it's a B+ is because it wasn't good balance down the tarp line. That's my assessment.
I think they did a heck of a job.
Yeah, they did. No, B+ is good. That's satisfying. That's a good number. We are going to take a break and send it to Dario Melendez and Jerry Augustine. We were just giving them time to get ready. They were caught off guard as well.
They probably weren't even there.
Hairspray and makeup is on.
Hey, you got to get back to the set.
We'll take a break, and then we'll send it to our Fox Sports Wisconsin studios with Dario and Augie. We are in a rain delay in Cincinnati. So Eric Thames will step in. The rains have subsided. There is a little bit of light rain falling right now, but they are hopeful that it is nothing serious. They've actually not only rolled the tarp back up, but they put the cover on it, so they're not keeping it in a position to be unfurled again. So we're going to play ball here. 2 outs, 6 innings. Thames at the plate, and the first pitch is a breaking ball down and in. 54-minute rain delay is the official count. If you're keeping your rain delay scorebook at home. 2 outs, runner at first. And a swing and a miss by Thames. A ball and a strike.
Yeah, basically fastball, curveball, slider for Hernandez. Looked very good in yesterday's game. Did walk a batter.
33-year-old right-hander putting together his best season so far in the big leagues, and he's had some good ones. Orioles, Diamondbacks. 1-2 now to Thames. Well, you're hoping this is a bit of a reset. Freddie Peralta, you got to give him a lot of credit. He turned this game around, has kept the Brewers in the game. He showed a lot by holding up through that first inning as Thames pops it foul. The wind is blowing hard, but it's going to end up in the seats.
And for a young guy and getting hit around like he did in the beginning of the first inning, he did turn things around nicely. 10 in a row, as you mentioned. After the first inning, only a walk and a hit. That was it for Cincinnati. Looked much better after that first inning.
Impressive how he could gather it up and give Counsell 5 innings. Thames, a high fly ball, windy out there. Hamilton coming in, and he's got it to end the inning. So he can close the book on Matt Harvey. No runs through 5 2/3, and we're headed to the bottom of the 6th. Back on the field, it will be Aaron Wilkerson to pitch. Eric Sogard had pinch hit in the rain a little over an hour ago, and Sogard, who grounded out, will continue in the game. He'll play short. So Miller is out. Put the pitcher in Miller's spot, and that pitcher is Aaron Wilkerson. His first game in the big leagues this year. We saw him a little bit last year, and Rock, his season started on the disabled list. Had a fractured shoulder on his non-throwing arm. He's been terrific down in AAA since he's returned.
Yeah, made 7 starts down in AAA Colorado Springs. He had a 2-2 record, 2.08 earned run average, really good numbers. Your opponent batting average very good. You can see what he was able to do, 29 strikeouts, a few too many walks. As you mentioned, we saw him a little bit last year, made some starts. We'll see how long he can go here today.
Wilkerson will face Scott Schebler, headed to the bottom of the lineup. And on the first pitch, Schebler fouls it away.
Man, my guess is we saw Jacob Barnes loosening in the bullpen. Had the Brewers been able to get something going, or even Thames hit a home run to bring it to a 3-2 game. You might have seen Barnes in the game, but since that didn't happen, Wilkerson takes over.
He'll try to keep the Reds at 3. Wilkerson not overpowering by any stretch. He is a pitcher's pitcher. He'll throw anything at any count. Has terrific command, but he does give up some walks. But I would say it's not, as Schebler grounds to second, it's not a lot because of command. It's because he does nibble a little bit. And there are often times when he'll pitch around batters to get to the next one if he feels like that's a better matchup for him.
A ground ball guy, 89 to maybe 92 miles an hour, good sink. And throws all the other 3, changeup, slider, curveball.
Not a whole lot going for the Reds since that 3-run first inning. Freddie Peralta ends up going 5, giving up 3 runs, all earned. Reds with 5 hits off Peralta, and 4 of those coming in the first inning. Ouch, hit him. Wilkerson hits Duvall, and the first base runner for the Reds since Votto walked in the second inning.
And maybe a little bit of nerves running through Wilkerson at this point. Got that one, let that one get away from, but he is a good ground ball pitcher. We'll see if he can get a ball on the ground, get a double play.
Alex Blandino now with a man on. He's 0 for 2 with a couple of Ks. And Blandino takes a strike. Been a long day of travel here for Aaron Wilkerson, called up from AAA Colorado Springs. Trying to make it here, early morning flight. I believe Colorado Springs was in Round Rock, Texas, which is in the Austin area. Now, that's not too bad of a flight to get to Cincinnati. Not a whole lot of direct flights into Cincinnati, though, from the Pacific Coast League. And certainly wouldn't have that option coming out of Austin.
Yeah, but certainly made sure he was here for game time. A little different on the other way back. Big leagues to the minors.
Now, he thought he was going to be pressed into action right away. That first inning, the way it was going, Freddie Peralta was probably a batter or 2 away from being taken out. If he does not retire Blandino in the first inning, which was the 7th batter of that inning he had faced without an out, he would have been removed in the first. Instead, he ends up going 5, and that keeps the Brewers bullpen in good shape. It's a little flare right off the end of the bat. It's going to fall for a base hit, and on his way to third goes Duvall. A single for Blandino. And the Reds have him at first and third and 1 away.
Yeah, hit it like he threw it, a curveball right off the end of the bat. And Blandino, he makes contact, puts it in play, and dumps it out into center field. Not a bad pitch.
Jim Riggleman had Michael Lorenzen, his relief pitcher, who has hit home runs in the last 2 games. He was on deck, but he's pulled Lorenzen back. And now it's going to be Jesse Winker. This is the pitcher spot in the batting order. I think Riggleman sensing an opportunity here to put this one away. 2 on, 1 away.
And look for contact with a man at third and less than 2 outs.
As a pinch hitter, has a homer, 4 runs batted in. His best option off the bench, and Riggleman's going to make that play right here in the 6th. Duvall was hit by a pitch. Blandino a single. First and third, one away, and a line drive base hit. That's another run in for the Reds. And Winker delivers again. This guy's really starting to hit now.
He's staying on a baseball nicely. Hit a home run to the opposite field on Thursday. He got to pitch up in the zone. It's that two-seamer. You can see it right down the middle of the plate at 81. Took a little off of it, and Winker rips it into right. That pitch got to be down.
RBI single for Winker. 3 consecutive base runners for the Reds. And here is Billy Hamilton now. 4-0 Cincinnati. In the last 9 innings the Brewers have played against the Red have been a disaster. It was all good up until then. The Brewers won the first 2 games. They had a 3-1 lead yesterday going into the 6th. Led 3-2 in the 7th. But the Reds have found their bats.
And the Brewers have not. They have not been able to get anything going since the 6th inning yesterday.
Reds with 4 runs on 7 hits. Hamilton down 0-2. Gotta hurry this one. Shaw bare hands, throw to first, no chance. Infield hit. And they are loaded up.
Line drive in the book. Well, excuse me, Hack just trying to put it in play, and once he gets that, rolls that one down the line, there's no chance to get him at first base. I mean, nobody faster in all of baseball than Billy Hamilton. Even with Shaw, even with the bag, nice play, but not even close.
They are loaded up for Jose Peraza. 4 consecutive base runners, 3 straight hits for the Reds. Peraza doubled and scored in the first. He's 1 out of 3. Oh, and 2 the count. Wilkerson, a ground ball pitcher. Peraza runs well. He's a tough guy to double up, but he could use a ground ball here. Count remains at 0-2.
Got to get the ball down to get that ground ball. Everything's been up so far for Wilkerson. That's not where he wants to be.
Brewers aren't getting much help from the Twins today. Minnesota is having a rough go at Wrigley. Cubs have an 8-1 lead over the Twins at Wrigley Field this afternoon. John Lester homered in that game. They're only in the bottom of the 3rd, and the Cubs lead 8-1. Scored 8 runs in the 2nd inning, did Chicago. They'll pop up, foul territory. Count remains at a ball and 2 strikes.
Yeah, that's more like it for Wilkerson. Good movement, running in on his hands.
this is going to be a grand slam for Peraza. To nothing, and a knockout punch for the second consecutive day, a grand slam. Brewers have given up 2 of those in the last 2 games.
The Cincinnati Reds have 9 grand slams this year. Back-to-back days with salamis. Didn't get much of it, but the wind helped it, pushed it out of here into the first row and left. Well, he was so close to getting a called strike 3 on Peraza. But he ends up hitting a home run.
Most grand slams in all of baseball. 2 in the last 2 days. Turning out to be a long weekend here for the Brewers in Cincinnati after a very promising start. Winning the first 2 games, had a lead late yesterday, and it has come crashing down here for Milwaukee. The Reds with the 9 grand slams have already tied their club record, their franchise record for grand slams in a season, and it's just the 1st of July. A mark that was set in '02. Boston has 7 grand slams. Cleveland has 6.
Nothing wrong with their offense. It's been that way just about the entire season.
Little handle shot, and Sogard out to make the catch. Nice play. Eric Sogard going a long way on the shift. Takes a hit away from Tucker Barnhart.
And another handle. On the handle again. Barnhart got a base hit his second time up, one off the handle. This time Sogard able to take one away from him. Nice running catch. Had to go down to secure the out. Good play by Eric.
First ball swinging, Votto with a base hit. And for the second time today, the Reds have batted around. Joey Votto with 2 hits and a walk today. The 9th batter of the inning. Inning started with an out. And then 5 consecutive base runners reached, capped off by that grand slam by Peraza. 2 gone, runner at first, Eugenio Suarez. Peraza with home run number 5. He's at 2 in this series. Brewers had great success against Cincinnati. They had won 7 in a row at one point after their win on Friday night. Now 7-2 on the season against the Reds. Swept them earlier this year. Much different team though we're looking at right now. If they get any pitching at all from their starters, they're tough to beat.
Well, and that's what they've been doing. I mean, you know, they've been swinging the bats well all year. Hey, 9 grand slams. They're up, you know, 3rd in the league in batting average. They score runs, but starting pitching starting to come around. We've seen that in this series.
And that's why they have won as they have. There's a strikeout to end the inning. But the Reds do some big damage once again. 8-0 Cincinnati.
Slams. They take an 8-0 lead here. And Brewers Community Foundation will host its 20th annual Famous Racing Sausages 5K race coming up on Saturday, July 21st. The proceeds will support Fisher House, a hospitality home for military families receiving health-related services at the Veteran Association hospitals. So if you'd like to register online, you can go to brewers.com/5K.
All right, Sophia, thanks. We are on our way to the 7th inning, 8-0 Reds. Cincinnati just put a 5 spot on the board in the 6th. There's a familiar face, former Brewer Jared Hughes, making his tour through the National League Central.
Another good season for him, 37th appearance. You could use Hughes a lot, a 127 earned run average, which means he's getting a lot of ground ball outs. First time we've seen him in the series. Hasn't pitched since Wednesday. Scoreless inning against the Braves in Atlanta.
Needing some work. I'm sure you'll see Iglesias today as well. He has not pitched in this series. Hughes started with the Pirates, came to the Brewers, and now with the Reds. He's had a good year, a bounce back season for him. With the elevated strike zone, Hughes was having a hard time getting strikes. He's got a nasty sinker that you just saw. And he was trying to rethink a little bit how to get outs. He wasn't getting the called strikes at the bottom of the zone that he was accustomed to. But whatever he's done, he's figured it out. He's been a big part of this excellent Cincinnati bullpen.
That's what he does right there. I mean, that ball, that baseball sinks quite a bit as it gets to home plate. Out of his hand looks like a pretty good pitch to hit, but then just kind of disappears down and into a right-hander. He's got a slider to go with it, but predominantly going to go with that two-seam sinking fastball.
Braun back in the lineup today, missed yesterday's game, had to leave Friday's game in the middle of the game with lower back tightness. Chopper to third base, easy hop for Suarez. Out number 1 for Hughes.
I wouldn't be surprised, although the Brewers bench is a little bit thin, to see Braun coming out after missing some time with that lower back tightness. Brewers down 8-0. Question is, who do you put out there?
Right, running out of options. Jesus Aguilar tops the Powerball home run leaderboard. He's currently 1 off the National League lead. Nolan Arenado and Bryce Harper with 20. Travis Shaw has 14. He steps in now. Shaw looking for his first home run in a while as he goes the other way, and it's another base hit. Travis broke up the perfect game with a knock just like that off Matt Harvey. He's 2 out of 3 today.
Well, it all started with a bunch of walks for Travis in this series, and now he's starting to get base hits the other way. That's a good way to good signs that he's starting to snap out of it.
So a base runner for Hernan Perez. He is 0 for 2. Both of those at bats against Harvey. Harvey goes 5 2/3 today for the Reds. 2 hits, no runs. No walks either, and he struck out 6. And the only reason he didn't go longer is because the rains came. After a 54-minute rain delay, David Hernandez finished the 6th inning. And now Hughes is out. He's got Perez 0-2. The Brewers starter, Freddie Peralta, goes 5 innings today, 3 earned runs, all coming in the first. Gave up 5 hits today, struck out 5.
And really did it without his good curveball today. He really never was able to find that pitch. And it got by today after the first inning with the fastball, just like he did in his first start against Colorado.
Just really didn't have the velocity on the fastball we're accustomed to. He was only throwing in the 89 to 92 range today. Normally he's up there 92, 95. But he gutted it out. And as I said earlier, Might have learned more about Freddie Peralta on a day when he doesn't have his A game or even his B game than you would when everything's working. Perez swinging a foul tip right into the mid of Barnhart and a strikeout. 2 outs.
Well, manage your dream team and begin your run toward the playoffs with the all-new franchise mode in RBI Baseball 18, rated E for everyone. RBI Baseball puts you in control of all the action. Learn more at rbigame.com.
Here is VR with 2 away. Shaw the runner at first. Shaw has 2 of the 3 Brewer hits. VR fouls it back. Threatening skies still above here in Cincinnati.
Man, here's some rumblings in the sky off in the distance.
It's cooled down significantly from where we were when we started this game. Extremely hot and humid. Temperature was 95. The heat index on the field up over 100. Then the rains came, and now there's cloud cover. Fans are comfortable. Game's not comfortable for the Brewers, but the fans don't have to sit in the sun. Ground ball foul for VR. 2-2 the count on Jonathan.
As long as the clouds are gone, we're ready to leave.
Yes, no storms. Getting on that big bird back to Milwaukee and getting ready for a series with the Twins tomorrow. Twins for 3. Take us through the 4th of July. And then the Atlanta Braves are coming to town. The first place Atlanta Braves. Like the Brewers, the Braves have been going along about 500 over the last month or so. They've actually had 8 blown saves. So you wonder where they could be. Braves are 47-34. The Brewers a game in the win column ahead of Atlanta for the best record in the National League, 48-34. VR draws a walk.
It's amazing how similar, the Brewers are to the Atlanta Braves. When you look at their home run record, almost identical.
Atlanta is shutting out St. Louis today, 6-0. That game is in St. Louis. They are in the 6th inning. So the Braves are winning, the Cubs are winning. And the Brewers are down 8-0. This is not shaping up to be a good day in the standings for Milwaukee. But you hit July 1st in first place. Significant marker for the team. They just passed over the mathematical halfway point yesterday. Brewers played their first 81 games. They were 15 over and 2.5 up. Great start to the year, and Milwaukee still has the best record in the NL. That could flip-flop if things hold up as they are right now.
You just got to worry about the record. You got to worry about getting your guys healthy. And you only have to be in first place one day.
That's right. Now the Brewers led the division by 5.5 games at the All-Star break last year. Only to be caught quickly. Cubs got hot. Brewers struggled. I think what's impressive about this year's team is the fact they've dealt with so many injuries, and yet they've maintained the successful play. And they're in the middle of one of those weather the storm streaks right now with Yelich and Kane hurt. Braun's not 100%. You got Matt Albers on the disabled list. He's supposed to be your setup man.
Man, that's the thing. I mean, I was going to say, other than Albers, the bullpen's been able to stay relatively healthy. Knocking on wood as I say that. Starting rotation banged up.
1-2 to Broxton. Foul tip, stays alive. Well, the Brewers know they'll return back to Miller Park tomorrow with at least a half-game lead in the Central Division. They know they're going home in first place. Broxton strikes out to end the inning. Couple of Ks for Jared Hughes. Stretch time here in Cincinnati. Reds public address announcer Joe Zerhusen setting up the proceedings for God Bless America, being performed today by Amy Hopkins. Enjoy.
That you please stand. Kindly remove your hats and face the American flag. Major League Baseball, the Reds and the Brewers salute the men and women of our armed forces, as well as those who serve to protect in our local police and fire departments. At this time, please help us honor these brave men and women and all our veterans of service, and welcome Amy Hopkins as she leads us in the singing of God Bless America.
God bless America, a land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above, from the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans, why without God bless America, my home sweet home. God bless America, my home sweet home.
On Fox, a dream matchup unfolds. Superstars collide. It's Neymar and Brazil. They face off against Chicharito Rock. And then Belgium takes on Japan. All starts tomorrow, 8 a.m. Central on Fox. Or you can stream it live on Fox Sports app. Brazil, Mexico, Belgium, and Japan. It's heating up. Aaron Wilkerson back on the mound. The Brewers on the wrong side of an 8-0 score as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. It will be Scott Schebler to start it. First ball swinging right to Thames. Out number 1. Got a big homestand coming up. The Brewers will have a night game tomorrow and then back-to-back day games. 3 o'clock starts on Tuesday and Wednesday, the 3rd and 4th of July.
Right.
And then we're all going to Rock's house after on the 4th.
Well, the thing is, I mean, 3 o'clock start, so you get to go to a Brewers game, then head down to Summerfest.
I see.
Check out all the festivities down there.
Or Rockfest.
Right.
Miller Lite, what's on tap? Those are the probables. Suter, Guerra, and Anderson will be up for Milwaukee.
Twins have been having a rough go of it lately.
Twins are on a family trip. And they are not winning much in front of their family members. 9-1, the Cubs have the lead today. They're only in the 5th inning. They scored 8 runs in the 2nd.
You're not insinuating that there's a correlation there, are you?
No. I'm insinuating that if you were ever going to win some games, it'd be in front of your family. When they're on the trip, you're trying to make things, entertaining for your family.
Yeah, Brewers had their family trip to Yankee Stadium last year. It was a 3-day trip.
How'd they do?
They won 2 out of 3.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, speaking of family, I want to send a birthday greeting to Betty Carlson. Remember Bingo Betty?
Oh, yeah.
She came into the booth last year.
Yes.
She turned 91 yesterday.
Happy birthday, Betty.
Yeah.
Swing and a miss. Duvall strikes out. Out number 2 here for Wilkerson. He'll try to pitch as long as he can, and if Wilkerson can pitch 3 innings here, barring a comeback by the Brewers, you figure if Peralta goes 5, Wilkerson goes 3, and if you don't come back, you lose the game, but you will have gained a lot of rest in your bullpen.
Right.
Every day leads to the next, especially when you're in this run that the Brewers are on, where they're in the middle of 21 games in 20 days.
Yep, no off days till the All-Star break, and that will mean all hands on deck tomorrow against the Twins.
Wilkerson just up from AAA, his first outing in the big leagues this year. Well, if the Brewers can just make it to the postseason, if they could just get into the division series, the way the postseason works with 2 games, an off day, 2 more typically in that run, boy, they could be in great shape. Blandino to center field. There is Broxton running another one down, and that will retire the side. 1, 2, 3 inning for Wilkerson. We're headed for the 8th.
A 2018 Brewers home game. Learn more at brewers.com/vote.
Final day of voting is Thursday, July 5th. So get on your computer, your smartphone, whatever device is your favorite, and vote often. That'll be Jackson Stevens next up for the Reds out of their bullpen. 8-0 Cincinnati. As we go to the 8th inning here, the Brewers surrendering another grand slam. Twice the Reds have batted around in this game. Jose Peraza with a grand slam today. And that was the knockout punch. Took it from 4-0 to 8-0. Matt Harvey in line for the win. Peralta on the hook for the loss. We'll see if the Brewers can put something together here as Votto makes a call. Going to stay playable. He's got it just in front of the rail. Manny Pena is retired. 1 pitch and 1 out for Stevens.
And we saw Stevens in the ball game on Friday in the Brewers 8-2 victory. Third of an inning, gave up 3 hits, 3 runs, all unearned runs. So some defensive breakdowns for the Cincinnati defense.
Eric Sogard batting for the 2nd time. Well, if you're just joining us today, the Brewers and Reds playing the final game of this series at a 54-minute rain delay. The big news when we hit the air today, the fact that Orlando Arcia demoted to AAA, trying to get his bat put together. Some mechanics problems that he is going to be addressing. Too hard to do in the major leagues. Tyler Saladino is coming back from that ankle injury. Saladino played yesterday in Wisconsin in the Midwest League up in Appleton. He was 0 for 3. And so he's close to returning to the Brewers. You'll see him on the next homestand, barring a setback. So the Brewers in need of pitching. I think they were trying to get through this road trip before they made that move with Arcia, but desperate for arms. Went ahead and made the move prior to today's game, getting Wilkerson here for Arcia. And the primary goal is to get Arcia back right at the plate. Brewers need him. He was their everyday shortstop. That was not something they thought they were going to have to replace this season.
And it looked like on Wednesday, Arcia was starting to put together some pretty good swings, had a couple of hits and a walk. Had a good at-bat in that game, a bullet into center field, was staying on the baseball nicely, but then reverted right back again on Friday. So that consistency has been, the problem for Arcia.
And so you have a AAA lineup now that features Orlando Arcia and Domingo Santana. Santana hit 30 homers last year. Brewers are a little banged up in their outfield core as well. Broxton got the call over Santana, primarily because he could play center field. But if they have to put Yelich on the disabled list, it'll be interesting to see what that play will be when we get home. Sogard hits it on the ground to short. Out number 2.
Gives you a sense of how important those 2 guys are to the Brewers. I mean, not just defensively, not just on the field, but in the clubhouse. Kane and Yelich. When both of those guys are out for an extended period of time, it is not good.
Changes the look of the ball club, right? The lineup, all of it, the mood. And it's not that Kane and Yelich are vocal individuals as it is. It's just there is a presence there with that kind of talent.
Just the confidence that the guys have when they're both in the lineup.
First at bat in the big leagues for Aaron Wilkerson this year. He's been hitting down in AAA. Pitchers hit beginning at the AA level. Chopper to short. This will be a 1-2-3 inning. Brewers go quietly in the 8th. Reds coming up for the bottom of the 8th. 8-0 Cincinnati.
Freddie Peralta. That's something. I think these guys, you're not going to have your best stuff every game. And Peralta's been on his A game. He's been great. But today he ran into a buzzsaw in the first, was able to fight his way out of it, ends up going 5 innings. Aaron Wilkerson trying to pick up the last 3 now. And he's back out there for the bottom of the 8th, coming off a 3 up, 3 down inning. Brandon Dixon will lead the way for Cincinnati, hitting in the pitcher spot. Pinch hit appearance. In the air to right center. Sounded off the end of the bat. Perez is there. And out number 1.
I enjoy plenty of $1 hot dogs at Miller Park on the Brewers Independence Day showdown with the Twins this coming Wednesday, July 4th. To book your seats, go to brewers.com/tickets. $1 hot dogs.
On the 4th of July.
Come on.
Come on, man.
How do you not go there?
I mean, things aren't going well now, but that was that really turned the tables for us, Rock.
No,
well done.
I was down. I was down and out. And I was kind of feeling sorry for myself. But, hey, you know what? $1 hot dogs.
Yes. Pop up by Hamilton in foul territory. That'll be out number 2.
I'm actually not feeling sorry for myself. Feeling sorry for the guys today. Kind of a rough game.
Yep, there'll be days like this. This guy coming up, Jose Peraza's had his imprint on this game. Had a double in the first inning. And then the moment when this game got out of hand, a grand slam in the 6th. And the pitch he hits out of here. This guy's having a fantastic season. They have found their replacement for Zach Cozart. That was the Badger Mutual Insurance play of the game.
He can pick it too. I mean, that was your prototypical Great American Ballpark homer. Wind blowing out pretty strong at the time, but they count nonetheless.
Fly ball to right. Perez on the run, slicing, and he can't quite get there. It's a foul ball. Great effort though by Perez. Doesn't matter the score, doesn't matter the situation. Hernan is always hustling.
Hustling down the line yesterday on a little bobble at third base. Able to beat it at first and ultimately produced a couple of runs for the Brewers. You just never know. You just hustle all the time. You never know what will happen.
1 ball, 1 strike. Wilkerson has retired 6 in a row now. Gave up 5 runs in that 6th inning. After the long rain delay, the 54-minute rain delay, Wilkerson started the 6th, got the first man out. Looked like he was ready to settle in. Then he hit a batter and gave up 4 straight hits, including that grand slam by Peraza. And this game went from 3-0 to 8-0 in a flash. We've seen this Reds offense strike quickly. Two-two the count. Got him. A strikeout to end it. We go to the 9th. Last call for the Brewers. They need 8 to tie. Might as well get 9.
At our Tavern of the Game winner, that's Tanner's Tappin' Grill and Umro. If they call the Brewers by 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, they get 40 tickets to a Friday night game in the Miller Lite Beer Pen. It's offered courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and Miller Lite. You hear me? I finished it.
Nice.
Remember yesterday, you were wondering if I finished the Tavern of the Game read. A little concerned.
Punched it well today, partner. Good job. To the ninth, and the Reds closer is on. Yep. Non-save situation, of course.
Yep, 15 out of 17, 208 earned run average, more strikeouts than innings pitched. This guy's nasty. He's got good stuff. Gives you different looks, different arm angles. Throws hard. Been a while for him.
Yeah, he is appearing for the first time in this series. Reds just need to get him some work.
Last pitched on Wednesday against the Atlanta Braves. Scoreless inning.
Reds took 2 out of 3 from Atlanta. They started this series having won 9 of 10. Brewers won the first 2 games. There is a streak on the line right now the Brewers would like to keep going. Milwaukee has hit a home run in 18 straight games at Great American Ballpark. That would serve 2 reasons. It would break the shutout as well. The Brewers are in danger of being shut out for the 11th time this season. The 18 consecutive games homering in a park is the longest streak by any opponent here at this facility. And it's tied for the longest streak overall. The Reds team of 2010 had homers in 18 straight games here in their home ballpark. It's a lot of home runs.
And it right here.
I feel like Eric Thames has hit most of those. Always got to watch closers in non-save situations. And Iglesias has come out struggling with his command. Braun able to check his swing. 2-0 is the count. The Brewers will bring in, or rather the Reds will bring in the White Sox tomorrow. They've got an interleague series with Chicago. And then they will go to Chicago to play the Cubs. So they'll play Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. They have an off day, and then they go on the road to face the Cubs for 3 at Wrigley, and then they'll be on the road against the Indians and then the Cardinals before the All-Star break. So you can turn into a Reds fan quickly as soon as this series is over. Hope the Reds stay hot against teams like the Cubs and the Cardinals. They've got a 3-city road trip, 9-game road trip before the All-Star break. Remember, the Reds swept the Cubs just last week right here at Great American Ballpark.
Yeah, the Reds had won 7 straight home games before the Brewers got here on Thursday. Took the first 2.
Next time we'll see the Reds will be at Miller Park August 20th through the 22nd. A 3-game series in Milwaukee. We'll be back here in Cincinnati in late August. As Braun hits one in the air, deep center field. That's got a chance, and it is gone. A home run for Braun, and the streak is alive. 19 consecutive games with a home run for the Brewers in this ballpark. And Braun, with one swing of the bat, keeps the streak going and breaks the shutout.
Yep. Well, no consolation prizes in baseball, but yeah, you get that goose egg off the board, and no shutout. The Brewers able to get a long ball out of Ryan Braun. Hey, give him a finish here. Let's see if he can get Iglesias out of the game. Keep pounding away.
2-run home run for Braun. That gives him 10 on the year, 35 RBIs now.
If anything's going to wake up a closer, it's going to be that walk, home run. Sometimes that burn is just not in the belly in these kind of situations for closers.
You see Shaw's day at the plate, presented by Wendy's. Now Shaw into center field, but Hamilton is there. Travis hit it hard, but right at the red center fielder. That's the first out.
Not fooling anybody, is he?
Every home run Ryan Braun hits, he adds to his franchise record. Home run number 312. He's second in the franchise history in RBIs. He's got over 1,024 now. Hernan Perez in a 1-1 count. Brewers finally get a couple of runs on the board off the closer Iglesias, who drops down sidearm. He's got a lot of El Duque in him. El Duque Hernandez. He looks a lot like him. Same number. Slings it up there.
Yeah, different arm angles, different speeds, different movement on his pitches. He does a lot to get you thinking up there at the plate.
Has a live arm. Marcel Iglesias. And he strikes out Perez. Yeah, that home run got his attention. Those were some finishing pitches he just threw to Hernan Perez. That had a little burn on it.
Dropped down sidearm with the slider. Pitch that the Brewers have had a difficult time with, that slider off the plate in this series, last 2 days anyway.
The Brewers down to their last out, 2 outs in the ninth for Jonathan Villar. Brewers won the first 2 in this series. Reds are an out away from winning the last 2. And that one's on the ground. Dixon's got it, and that's the ball game. Reds win today. 8-2 the final. A split of the series with the Brewers and the Reds. But the Brewers will head back to Milwaukee knowing they will be in first place. Either going to be a game and a half or a half a game, depending on the Cubs and Twins outcome today at Wrigley. That's our story from Cincinnati. We'll have more for you coming up on Brewers Live. Now let's send it to our Fox Sports Wisconsin studios. Dario Melendez is standing by. Dario?